What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another weekly rewind. We are here to review week 14, also known as the last rewind of the regular season. So, I'm here with Jake, along with the freshly engaged man, Gregory Sense. Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank
clapped
you.
Yes,
up.
yes,
Before we
yes.
get any further, I want a quick shout out Cade Killer for giving me my engagement gift of being on the podcast again. That was really thoughtful of him. I appreciate it.
That's huge. Oh boy. So yeah, we got a jam-packed rewind this week. We got a fat two matchups to preview. We've got a whole lot of a whole lot of blowouts this past week, honestly. Not a single game was close. Closest was Nick and Brandon at like 30 something points. Yeah, boy. So yeah, we got an exciting one. But there were some playoff implications, so that's cool. We're gonna start her off. Greg. We're gonna start with you, Greg and Cade. Uh, for obvious reasons. Cade, I'm disappointed in you. Didn't even field the full lineup. You're lucky this game didn't matter. You were finishing ninth anyways. But that's a bit gross.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
was
Greg.
personally a little disappointed to see that Cade didn't put a full lineup, but I mean, this game didn't matter. I was already locked in the first pick. He was already locked in the second. I looked at his bench just to see if it. I think even then though I would have won, so I took some pride in that. Of course, my team chooses this week to pop off when everything's all settled, but well, a win for limited is a win for limited at this rate.
A win for pain.
We'll take that.
And I
The
will
one week I
take
probably
a
could.
1-for-1 on my picks in this game.
Congrats. Yeah, I know you were struggling with that pick at first because you were like, will Cade try? Because Cade could not be the 10 seed. They would have taken, I think Greg would have had to bench everyone and Cade would have had to pop off. So I think since Cade is a valued listener of this podcast, I think he did want Greg to be on here, and I respect that. So
Yeah, I also respect that.
yeah,
Kudos
No,
to you,
as I
Cade.
said before, I wasn't roasting him. I really appreciate the engagement. It was really thoughtful of him. Definitely on the invite list.
Oh boy. Yeah, and honestly, Greg, team played well. T-Law, 42 points. DPJ, 22. All right. Chase, welcome back. Damian Pierce with the high ankle sprain. But he did his
Feels
job, I
bad.
suppose. Yeah. Not like you're going to need him for the
Yeah,
rest of the
Pierce has
season.
kind of cooled off. He's gotten me consistently above 10, but
Yeah.
he hasn't really been hitting what he was at the start of the year.
He had a 2-week stretch where he was really bad. And he kind of bounced back to his low double digits that he's been used to. But I think a lot of it's just the fact that Houston's been so bad and so behind in a lot of these games. They just haven't been able to run the ball as much as they'd like to. But do we really expect Houston to be better next year? I, for one, do not.
Now, if they get what's this? The guy from Ohio State, isn't he there?
Stroud.
Stroud. Yeah. What if they get Stroud though?
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
thinking Ohio State quarterbacks are good.
Fields.
yeah. There was a Fields
Yeah.
trade there, Brian.
Who has
That must have
Fields
been
right now?
that must have been a finesse then.
Yeah.
No, what was I going to say? Oh, I was just looking at the bench, and I totally forgot that the Colts were on the bye. I know Jonathan Taylor hasn't done Jonathan Taylor things this year, but that's tough for everybody that he was on bye the last week of the fantasy
Mhm.
regular season. That's
I thought there'd
crazy.
be a lot bigger, much larger of a factor than it was, but it really. I mean, my running backs were terrible, but it didn't matter because Cade was giving me the win this week anyway.
Yeah, true. Hey, Kenyon Drake outscored Kenneth Gainwell. What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
Pain. So yeah, hey, kudos to you, Greg, on your second win, I believe. Yep, second win of the
Yep.
season.
2-12.
There we go.
Love
Hey,
to
way to
see it.
finish strong, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Now you can grab a burger, crack a beer, and kick your feet up and watch the playoffs.
Add that S to the wins now, not just one
Yeah,
win. So
wins.
He's got wins, and he's
Yes.
a quality team. Love it.
Not wins.
Wins, baby.
All right, let's bounce over to the second matchup of the day. Hey, I'm 2 for 2. I picked against myself for the first time all year. Mike hammered me by 50. Apparently T. Higgins didn't play. I dropped the ball on that one. He must have been a late inactive, huh?
Feels bad.
I swear I checked my team that morning. Yeah, whatever. Not like I had Mike Williams with 26 points on the bench or anything like that. Fuck. My entire team was on bye this week. I didn't expect much. But DJ Chark was a big start for me. I was proud about that one. Always nice to start a Detroit Lions wide receiver when it works out. Derrick Henry was good. Rest of the team, bad. So what can you do? I played against Mahomes. He wasn't too scary. He threw 3 picks. Broncos country, baby. Didn't they go up like 21-0 or something like that in that game, and then Broncos just clawed their way back?
Broncos almost came back.
I remember watching that because in my work league I was playing against Christian McCaffrey and Jerick McKinnon, and I was just watching Jerick McKinnon score all the touchdowns, and then switching to
both of them.
Yeah, the Christian McCaffrey. They both put up like 30 plus.
Yeah, they both had receiving touchdowns that were like very. I think McCaffrey had like a 40-yarder.
Yeah.
McKinnon had that weird play. It was like probably like 60 yards.
That it hurt.
It was wild.
Yeah. Needless to say, I lost. Everybody else.
But yeah, that is crazy how many people you had on bye. Like if this would have been a game in the playoffs, that would have been so devastating.
Yeah.
Trading for Fields and then finding out he has a bye the week to get in. I guess you got Herbert. What am I talking about? Either way, that is tough.
Herbert's been kind of bad for fantasy though. I mean, I'm not turning on Herbert overall, but fantasy he really just hasn't.
He was disappointing.
Chargers are terrible.
It's tough though.
Receivers,
yeah. This past week, I think this past week was the first week that Williams and Keenan Allen had played together and finished the game.
Yeah.
All season long. Yeah. So it's tough to blame the guy. He's been okay, but you're right. It's disappointing. It's not what you drafted him for, but it is what I traded him for. Kyler Murray isn't much worse.
Yeah, at least you can feel better keeping Herbert than Murray. I
probably won't keep Herbert, but I don't know. When was Herbert drafted? 6th round? Yeah. Maybe. Probably not. I don't know who I'm keeping actually in this group. It's kind of a shit team. Olave. I'll probably keep Olave, and that's like my lock.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping Kamara. He stunk this year. Derrick Henry, I can probably keep, but he was an early-ass pick, first-round pick. I don't know if I want to keep Henry in the first round. I'll have a fairly early pick, finished 8th. So I'll play around with that. I might take some late-round guys. Maybe T. Higgins. He was drafted in the 7th. Oh, he was kept actually, I think. So he'll go at ADP, which will probably be like the 4th, if I had to guess. But I don't know. I got plenty of time to think about that. Anywho, my team stunk. My bench was surprisingly good for only having 2 players on it. Mike's team was pretty solid. A couple of stinkers from Saquon, and I mean, Dulcich. I don't even call that a stinker. That's a solid game from a guy like Dulcich. But hey, good win for Mike, secure in first place with this win. So kudos to you there. The big 156. In the same breath, let's bounce over to George and Jake. This game mildly mattered for seeding, correct, Jake?
Yep. So it started out with Derek Carr. I believe he played on Thursday, right? I think that was the Thursday game. Yep. So I got to stare at the 2.5. So I had a tough time with my quarterback situation last week. With Lamar getting hurt and all. I picked up Huntley and Carr, and I ended up going with Carr on Thursday night. I felt decent about it. Going against the Rams, struggling this year. I just figured, he do solid. He started out all right, and then, of course, that's Baker Mayfield's game to remember. That drive. But, yeah, my team did absolutely terrible. Not great to see right before the playoffs, and I still have to figure out the quarterback situation. But one thing I was pretty excited about was seeing Jameson Williams catch a touchdown on in the first quarter against – or were they playing against? It was the Lions versus –
Vikings.
Oh, yeah, it was the Vikings this week. That was crazy too. But, yeah, Jameson caught like a 50-yard touchdown. I felt really good about that. And then he only had one other target the rest of the game, so I thought he was just going to be more involved. But I don't know. I was really hoping that if he got like 7 or 8 targets or something, I'd feel a little better about next week, maybe potential flex. But I don't know. I'd have to really think about what I'd want to put him in the lineup. It's going to be tough.
It's good to see big play potential from a rookie, especially in his first game back from an injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you can play a guy with 2 targets. Not on
Second
a
game
team
back,
Detroit.
First game back that he actually got a target. So the first game back
that's
he played,
right.
he was just kind of out there, whatever. But maybe ran like 2 or 3 routes max. But yeah, I don't know. And then you'll see in the transactions later, I picked up Brock Purdy
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 minutes before the 49ers game started. After seeing how bad Tyler Huntley was doing, and I think he got hurt too
He
in that
did. Yep,
game.
he did.
I was like,
It was
shit,
concussion.
I gotta figure out how to get a quarterback before, Wednesday, so no one could bid on him. And I figured
Take a
it's worth a
shot.
shot on Brock Purdy, and he did pretty well.
Yeah, that was a pretty good
So
shot. He looks good,
yeah,
man. Although he's
I
banged up
felt
too.
pretty good about that. He's banged up too now, so
Yeah, oblique.
but
Apparently he'll be
but
okay to play.
we'll talk about the seeding later. But essentially, since George won, he's gonna end up playing Brandon, and I'm gonna end up playing Lane.
You got the better of that deal. No
Yeah.
disrespect to Lane, but
No,
In terms of
a lot of
he's been dicked
disrespect to
all
Lane.
year.
Hey, fuck
based on
you,
the
Lane.
based on the projections, I did a very good thing here by losing this game. But we'll see.
This may be jumping ahead, but Brandon has had the worst luck of any fantasy team I think I've ever seen this year.
Cade had quite a bit of bad luck this year too. In all
Yeah.
fairness to Cade, his points for was
yeah.
astronomical, and then he kind of gave up on the season and started benching everybody. And his bench every single week has been lighting it up.
I really wanted to see how his points forward would have looked.
How'd
Had you
Jerick
fielded
McKinnon look
full
on
team.
Georgia's bench in this one, Jake?
Oh man, Jerick McKinnon popped off. It looked. I loved seeing him on the bench, but
He was a freaking
Yeah.
receiver, man.
yeah, that was the first play in a while because usually Patrick Mahomes does Patrick Mahomes things, but that was the one. That was a play. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is Patrick Mahomes. This is something that I haven't seen before. With the way that he just like nonchalantly is running and then flips it perfectly to McKinnon. I don't know.
That was such a weird
'Cause
throw.
It's just in every Chiefs game. Sometimes it's kind of annoying that it's like, oh, only Patrick Mahomes can make that throw. But
Yep.
with that play, I'm like, that legitimately surprised me, and that was
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
There are very few quarterbacks in the history of the game that could do something like that. And very few quarterbacks in the history of the game that can do something like that, have it work, and then not get chewed out on the sidelines right after for even
Yeah.
trying it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Justin Fields does that. If that works out, Justin Fields is getting his ass kicked on the sideline. He said, "You dumbass, you're never doing that again." I don't care if it worked. You know,
That's
very
a
few
fact.
guys. Yeah, those are guys. Brady and Rodgers can get away with something like that, but it's a short
Mhm.
list. Maybe Peyton Manning and those kind of guys, but
Yeah, it is
Before
kind of
we-
like
oh, yeah.
it's kind of like a Steph Curry, Steve Kerr type thing where he's gonna have whatever he can do whatever he wants and
Yep.
keep winning games.
Before we move on, I just want to highlight that I listened to the podcast last week when George was the esteemed guest, and I think he maybe said 3 things total that whole time. But he still took the time. You know, when he said, "Oh, we're going to Greg's matchup," like, can we just talk about Greg's game planning or lack of this season? The 3 things he said all pod. Didn't even say anything after that. He just like had you guys talk about it for him.
Can we talk about this?
I
These are
love you,
what
George.
Molly Karam, whatever.
George, I love you.
All right, George's coming back on the rewind. Him and Greg, same time. We're gonna have it's just gonna be a
Oh.
boxing match.
Well, I'm just really glad George isn't here right now to talk about this game because I didn't want to lose to him. I get now that I'm going up against Lane, which some people would say is more favorable, but yeah, he would have been talking shit for sure on this one.
Now,
Even
big
though it
thing
didn't
about
really matter.
George's game here. He started Geno, which is great. Kyler's on the bench. He's out for the year with the torn
Aaron's
ACL.
back off the bye though.
Yeah, Rodgers is back off a bye. That's true, but it's the Rams, and Derek Carr just had. I mean, you just saw what Derek Carr did against the
True.
Rams. Is our offense really better than the Raiders' offense? No. Geno Smith
In
has
Lambeau,
San Fran next week. He has San Fran.
Maybe the worst matchup you could have.
Yeah, because I'm staring that matchup down in my playoff game in a different league as well, and I'm petrified. I don't know what I'd do if I was George.
I think it's got to be Aaron.
I think
I
you
will
have
say
to
for
roll it, Aaron,
George,
too.
though.
It's so hard.
Mike did just cut the massage fiend Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
So, and he plays Baltimore next week.
I did
Baltimore.
see that. I actually did see that. And I was
He
considering.
might be worth a flyer. I don't disagree with that.
If you're facing Rodgers versus Los Angeles or
Give me Deshaun.
Geno versus San Fran, that's not the worst option, honestly.
Yeah.
Give me Deshaun over Rodgers and Rodgers over Geno. Well, what does that say about my? Oh man, my work. I have Geno and Deshaun, and I was gonna
Feels
start.
bad.
I was gonna start Geno. I don't know. It's tough because you want to ride with the guy that got you there. Gino's literally been good all year long. He's had like 2 bad games.
Yeah.
One against Arizona had 6 points, and then one against guess who, San Fran. He had 4 points. So it's tough, man. It's a division game, right? No, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you. And
Also, looking at my
Yeah.
team, my running back 2 is kind of non-existent with how many.
yeah, Samaji. You lucked out with
It's kind
Samaji scoring a touchdown because didn't Mixon play that week?
I believe so. But basically, like my Michael Carter was originally going to be like well, Javante was going to be my number 2 running back, and then Michael Carter was kind of a third, which looked solid. And I felt like I had a good set of running backs, and then it just kind of all fell apart. And now I've got a running back 2 gap, kind of, and then a flex gap.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we got to figure something out. Njoku did pretty well. I think I have Njoku as
Didn't I
my
tell you to start
probably.
Joke in the flex last week?
Probably.
Hey, tight
I'm
end
thinking
flex,
about doing
don't
it.
knock it. It works sometimes.
It stinks.
Primary
I've
the
done
flex
it
is
before
clutch.
this season. It was Goddard Everett, I think, last time. Goddard is back, but I'm not gonna start him fresh off the injury. I don't think.
Yeah, Jake, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If I was playing against you, I wouldn't be that afraid.
Yep. And then we're gonna look at Lane's team too.
Yeah, yeah. We'll pick Lane's team apart, of course. Also, I just want to let it be known I'm 3 for 3 right now in picks.
So, and I'm looking at Lane's team, and yeah, okay, never mind. I forgot he had Ingram, so that's a little bit inflated, but he did put up 142 Brandon's 98. So maybe
142
I don't know.
Ingram, who had like 40 something points.
So basically around 100, and then around 100, and then I got 87. It was just a tough week for those seeds, the whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I hear
5,
Goddard's
6.
supposed to be back this week. I heard that
Yep,
Philly
Goddard
activated
is
him.
back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play him personally because
Might.
Njoku is doing solid.
Yeah.
Everett,
Who does
I
Njoku
don't know.
have this week? Baltimore. Yeah. Respect. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Watson's fine with Njoku. That's the thing.
Yep.
Watson likes Njoku, so.
I agree. So, all right, let's bounce over to Nick and Brandon. I see Brandon's getting on the name game early. Jake's Big Daddy's Big Daddy. Nice.
Yep.
That's a shot at George. Love to see it. Also, Jake, I think you caught a stray there.
I did. I think I beat Brandon last time, but it's all right.
Hey, he's just going after George's name, man.
True. It's true.
Yeah, Nick B won this game fairly handily. You know, Jalen Hurts continued being a beast. Gabe Davis is boom bust. Nuke, it's hard to blame Nuke because Kyler got hurt in like the 3rd play of the game. But, 13 points is okay. I mean, fuck McCaffrey. Ramondre stunk. Did he get hurt in that game? He must have. Ankle injury. Okay. Well, Kelsey, meh. Did Jeff Wilson get hurt too? He fumbled. His hip injury, non-participant in Wednesday. Yeah, might have had a couple rough injuries in this matchup for Nick. Good for him for winning. The Patriots defense helped a lot. But, yeah, not a whole lot. Dobbins on the bench with 21 points. Dobbins' first week back after injury, that's 2 times in a row he's busted 20 points. So, that's cool to see.
I'm already looking ahead at Brandon's bench, and this is just classic. I'll let you look at it later, but we'll see.
Jerry Jeudy had 3 touchdowns in that game. Holy shit. Respect on Jerry Jeudy. He's a guy. Wait, Russell Wilson had 3 touchdowns?
The comeback. Your comeback.
That's fake news. That's got to like double his total in the year.
Yeah, this was the one week that Russell Wilson was good. He's almost up to as many bathrooms as he has. He's only down 1 now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn it. Oh, man. Okay. Brandon, Josh Allen was disappointing. Amari Cooper may or may not have gotten hurt in that game, but he stinks. That's 2 weeks in a row. I'm pretty sure Brandon started him 2 weeks in a row. Devontae Adams had a disappointing week, but he's Devontae Adams, so he'll be okay. Dalvin Cook, it's tough when you have a bad game against Detroit. Not gonna lie. Minnesota struggled though, so I guess you can give it an okay. P. Ryan sniped a touchdown off Mixon. You'd be a lot happier with Mixon if Mixon had that one. And he was 4 yards short of 100 yards. Mixon was that one rushing touchdown away from having like 20 plus.
Hmm.
Damn. Dalton Schultz had a good game. Waddle stinks, and because of that, I'm assuming all the receivers on Brandon's bench went off.
Yep.
Miles Sanders had 33 on the bench. That's 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Miles Sanders is totally startable. I don't know how Chicago's defense has been this year, because he has Chicago next week in Chicago. You'd be okay. You could definitely do worse than Miles Sanders in that game. Garrett Wilson had a good game. Pacheco was solid. Devonta Smith had 20 points. Nice.
I'm saying
This
it all
is funny.
year. Those
Yeah.
receivers on the bench,
All
they're gonna
Brandon's.
outscore it every single time. Doesn't
Brandon realistically could have flexed Sanders, Wilson, or Devonta Smith because he goes through that every single week, and all of the 3 bench players outscored Waddle in the flex. Oh, that's fun. You know what hurts about being a Waddle owner is watching Tyreek Hill score 25 plus points every week and seeing Waddle only do it sometimes.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, Waddle's been pretty disappointing. Tough one. And Madison, -1 rush yards against Detroit. Damn, Detroit really turned up, huh?
They did.
Dan
Yeah.
Campbell's whipping that team into shape.
Potential
Just
coach,
the kneecaps.
potential coach of the year, maybe. He'll be
Yeah,
up
I
there.
could see that. I don't know if they've
He'll be
been
up there.
successful enough to actually get that vote, but I would vote for him. Fuck it.
You gotta be him or Shanahan, just because Shanahan's dealt with 3 quarterbacks and just still winning.
That could be, yeah. Oh,
But then there's the
Carroll.
Giants.
Pete
that
Carroll's got a shout.
Oh no! What about frick? Who's the guy in the Jets?
Dolphins. Salah.
Oh, Salah from
Salah,
the
yeah.
Salah.
yeah, Robert
Yeah, there's
Saleh.
so many. Like halfway through the season, the Giants coach and Pete Carroll and Salah, they were all up there.
Yeah, the Giants kind of fell off though, didn't they?
They did. They did. I don't remember what the record is off the top of my head, but they definitely aren't doing as well as they were like 2 or 3 weeks. The tie hurt them for sure.
They're in the wild card right now. I think so I saw something the other day. Packers news for the playoffs. Go figure. If the Packers win out, we need like if the Giants lose 1 game, the Commanders lose 1 game, and the Seahawks lose 1 game, and the Packers win out, we're in, or something like that.
Run the table.
Yeah,
Possible.
it's
I know
actually.
the Commanders play the 49ers still for sure.
Well, and the Commanders and the
And they play
Giants
the
play each
Giants.
other, so that's a guaranteed
Yes.
loss for one of them.
So we'd root for the Giants there. I would root for the Giants, knowing the Commanders play the 49ers still.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think Seattle might play the 49ers too. So
All right, we're huge 49ers
the
fans
hardest
now.
part about that is, the Packers have to win out, and we kind of stink.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
But the rest of it, honestly, pretty believable. So we'll see. But yeah, there are a lot of Coach of the Year nominations. I think my money might be on. It's tough to not go Pete Carroll, man. I know the Seahawks kind of stink, but they also don't.
And we didn't even talk about the Eagles coach.
Oh shoot! Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And we didn't, and not anymore. But for a while, the Dolphins coach was up there too. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
anymore, but there's just so many. This year, there were so many names out there for the coach of the year.
True.
I still think if Detroit makes it, if they make the playoffs, I think it's a guarantee.
Oh,
coach of the
yeah.
If you
year.
make the playoffs, yeah.
Are they
I agree.
even gonna make the playoffs though?
They're in the hunt. They're only 1 game back right now.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so nuts.
They've
Imagine.
won. It's either 4 of the last 5 or 3 of the last 4.
I think it's
But-
like 5 of their last 6, Jake. I think it's even more
5 of
than
the last
that.
6. Okay, so if it's 5 of the last 6, one of those, wherever the losses, it was to the Bills by 1 possession.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just crazy. But they've been doing that.
Dang. So you're
Jared
telling
Goff is better
me
than Stafford, confirmed.
you're telling
And they've
me
got the Rams pick.
Love to see it.
how do we get the Lions to match up against Minnesota in the playoffs so the Lions can beat them again?
It's possible.
That would be hilarious.
It's very possible because the Eagles will probably get the bye if the Vikings hold onto their record.
Yeah,
They
it'd be a
definitely
wild.
happen.
It could be a 3 and a 6,
Hmm.
or
They're
no,
6
because
and
there's 7
7
seeds
right now.
now. 2-7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2-7. And I mean, is Minnesota gonna be a 2?
I think right
They're-
now they're set to be.
They're tied with
Record-wise, yeah.
Dallas at 10-3.
Oh, Dallas. Oh. It will
But-
take Dallas or the Vikings losing to the Lions.
Didn't the Lions just beat Dallas, something like that? Someone shitty beat the Cowboys recently. It was the Lions, right?
Was it the Commanders? But they're not that bad this year.
No, it wasn't. It
Oh
was
my
the
gosh,
Lions.
I know the Cowboys destroyed the Vikings.
Oh, never mind. I'm tripping. Dallas' last loss was to us. Get
Oh,
fucked.
yeah, they did lose someone bad us.
Must have been thinking about
Yeah, they did.
X.
You
Anyways.
might have been thinking. I bet you're thinking of the Cowboys literally destroying the Vikings.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm thinking of.
probably.
All right, we're gonna go to the last matchup. The only matchup that actually like really mattered this week, Lane v Preston. The winner of this is in the playoffs, right? I think that was how that worked out.
Yep.
So, Laner getting the absolute dub here. And you know what, Lane? 140 points. Very good game. Respect. Fuck you. Your team name, why even try? Homie, you're in the playoffs, man. It's an insult to everybody below. It's an insult to me. It's an insult to Greg.
It hurts my
Cade.
feelings every time I see it, Lane.
You know,
Every time I see it, I'm glad I drafted I drafted
T-Law.
T-Law 12th round and didn't give him to you.
Yeah.
If I'm eliminated from the playoffs by a team named Why Even Try, I've got to
maybe
rethink a lot of things.
maybe he's not talking about himself anymore. Maybe he's talking to all the teams he's
His
beating.
opponents.
Ooh, okay.
He's telling
Oh,
Preston, "Hey, why even try, man? If you're gonna lose to this jank
I
ass
would
team,
respect that.
Why even try? I'm picking Evan Ingram.
I need a statement, Lane. I need you to come out and make a statement. I
Yeah,
need
we
to
need a
know.
press conference.
Yeah, get a presser. I'm calling him into the team's call right now."
Yeah.
Let's see. Laner started Tua. He was disappointing. Amon-Ra was fine. Godwin was okay. You know, you take it against San Fran. Pollard was a beast. Honestly, Pollard is a beast, man. Back-to-back 20-plus point weeks. He threw an 8 in there, but then he had 42 and 25. So, yeah. Pollard's a guy. Swift, disappointing, but you're still probably playing him. Who do they have next week? Jets? Yeah, you could probably play him. I don't think Lane is much better. Evan Ingram was the guy of the week. Shit, 162 receiving yards, 11 catches, and 2 touchdowns from Evan freaking Ingram. 43 points. Holy wow. Didn't I cut Evan Ingram a couple weeks ago? Yeah, November 18th. Pain. Lane and his Jags, man. They just work. You know, Christian Kirk only had 9.5, but it's because Evan Ingram caught every freaking pass in that game, apparently.
And Preston's got one on his bench that also did well. So, yeah.
Oh, Zay Jones. Yeah, I started
Plenty
Zay
of points.
Jones in one of my leagues, yeah. T-Law cooked, you know. T-Law had 3+ touchdowns. Damn.
Did 4, I think.
4? Shit. All right, Trevor. You know, San Fran defense is pretty strong, too. I mean, honestly, with the San Fran defense, are you really ever getting less than, like, 7 points? Only when you play the Chiefs. They've got Seattle next week. That should be a pretty good matchup. They got Washington the following week. Laner's got a good defensive schedule coming up here. Let's look at the bench. Najee, Ayuk. Wow, everybody on his bench scored 13 apparently. Najee, Ayuk, Dak. Man, Dak scored 13 against Houston. Man, Dak's been struggling. You know, he's really not that good for fantasy at least. Shoot. They've got the Jags next week. No way does Lane play the quarterback against the Jags. Who does Tua have next week? 3 weeks in a row for Tua, sub 20 points as well, by the way.
Tua's got the Bills next week.
Ooh, he might have to start Dak. I'm not starting Tua against the Bills. Well, maybe. I don't know. The Bills' defense isn't quite what it was at the beginning of the season, but I don't know. Dak's matchup isn't that bad. Jacksonville? That's a good matchup. No matter how big of a Jags fan you are, Laner, you've suffered through enough Jags games to know that Jacksonville's a good matchup for a quarterback. Rest of the roster, Deontay had a pretty solid game. And on Preston's team, Burrow was meh. CD was bad. Mike Evans was bad. And Mike Evans was frustrating because Tom Brady missed him in the end zone. He was wide open. He would have had like 16-point week, and that would have been great. Chubb was bad. Williams was bad. Kittle was bad. Lockett was good. Justin Tucker, best kicker in the league. He was fine.
Wait, Preston cut Justin Tucker?
No, he has.
No.
No, he's still on there. Okay.
No, he cut McPherson though
I heard
a while back.
Justin Tucker. I'm like, are we talking about Preston? I was worried for a second.
And the Buffalo
Preston,
defense.
Preston, you didn't make the playoffs, but you kept Justin Tucker, and they got you 11 points in the final week of the regular season. So, yep,
Damn. Hey, must be nice, man.
that's all right. McPherson got me like 2 this week or whatever it
Didn't
was.
Preston
So.
start off like 4-0 or something like that?
He was hot, yeah. At the start.
Yeah,
He was one of the better teams in the league for a while. Back when he had McPherson on his team. We know who the real best kickers. You dropped the wrong kicker, Preston. McPherson. When you had McPherson, you were winning games. Damn. Jared Goff on the bench with 40 points and Zay Jones on the bench with 22. We did the math before the rewind. Did we decide that doesn't matter? Was that what the verdict was?
let me
Goff
remind myself.
give him 20.
Zay Jones.
Give him like
He would have had to
30
start
something
Goff
points.
and Zay Jones, right? That would have been.
Even
Well, if he
then,
would've
he's
put-
not getting it.
Yeah, no, because he might have switched out Lockett for Zay
Yeah.
Jones.
I mean, even if you give him best case scenario, if you give him Goff and Zay Jones for Burrow and CD, I don't think he gets it, right? That's like 30 points.
Yeah, I think he's just short.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be a heartbreaking loss, honestly. So, Preston, you might be a little happy you didn't do that. That would have been tough to swallow. But
I'm sure he's disappointed about Aaron Jones being on bye, but it's not like
yeah, I
Aaron Jones is
mean,
the best running back in the league. He was good though.
and I was
He
going to
good
say
year.
this during my matchup, and I forgot to. But, it's tough to have your players in bye week 14, right? The week of making the playoffs.
Terrible.
But also, they weren't on bye for all of the other weeks when other teams had players on bye. So you got to be winning those games. You got to capitalize on those, right?
Yeah.
Those are the games you got to win, so that you don't have to win on that last week, right? Because you are fielding your full team, especially me. Preston only had 2 guys on bye this week, so. But I don't know. That's my take on it. It's my fault I didn't make the playoffs. I feel bad because I am bad, but it's okay.
Brian, why don't you just make it like Dennis do? You just move yourself ahead of Preston, make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, just like that. Yeah. Hold on, let me just put my team right in front of Preston. Oh, I do want to pick in front of him again though. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, Preston. So standings should be short and sweet. We got the playoff bracket right here. So we had Lemons and the number 1 seed. He gets a bye. Nick, number 2 spot. He gets a bye. I think Nick just lost on points it was pretty close, 50 points. So kudos to Lemons there. George won. Wow, George lost to Lemons on points 4 by less than a point. And George has 3 more losses. Huh. Interesting. So, evidently George is the 3 seed after knocking, was it Brandon? No, you,
Me
Jake,
down.
right? Yeah, he took you out. So he gets the 3 seed, you get the 4 seed, which gives you Laner and him Brandon. Brandon's, not an easy matchup. It depends on if Brandon starts the right flex, guys, because Brandon fills in the 6 hole, but he only had 10 fewer points for than George in the season, so.
In Preston's points 4, we should probably mention too. He actually has more points than me and Lane.
18, 20. Yeah, but they all came in the first half of the season.
That's true.
They don't tell the full story of Preston's team stinking. Ignore my 16-24. So yeah, that's the playoff picture. We've got 2 games this week. Let's get into those matchups quick, and then we'll do the top players of the week. We've got Brandon and George. Brandon's got Josh Allen, Devontae. So Josh Allen's got Miami. Snow in the forecast for the Bills game, but I don't think it matters, man. The Bills just score points, I believe. He's got Garrett Wilson in the lineup right now. Dalvin Cook and Miles Sanders in the lineup against Chicago. Respect. Dalton Schultz against the Jags. And he's got Joe Mixon in the flex against Tampa. That's a tough matchup. But are you really benching Joe Mixon in the playoffs?
It's tough.
Got to make him worth
you
that first
can't.
round pick you gave him. You got to have him.
Yeah, you got to keep him in there. I mean, Joe Mixon hasn't had a bad game all season. The only game, he's had 1 game sub 10 apart from the one that he got injured in. So, yeah, you roll with him. And you cross your fingers that Tampa stinks. On the bench, Pacheco, he's got Waddle, Amari Cooper on the bench. Devonta Smith on the bench. Those are a lot of guys that can definitely outscore Joe Mixon. But I think this is the right roster. Honestly,
Devonta Smith at Chicago. My goodness.
I'd consider throwing Smith in there, but it's tough to start two Eagles.
That's because Devonta Smith is going to give you a good number, or he's going to give you like sub 10. Mixon's going to get you at least 10.
Yeah. Oh, did I get that? I didn't write down this matchup. Did I get this one right? Attaboy. I went 5 for 5. Sick. So that puts my final season for the regular season at 55.77% correctness for my picks. Bless me.
Love to see it.
Yeah, huge. Slightly better than average.
You can open Shizzle Sportsbook anytime soon.
I don't have that kind of time, Greg. I'm not Shane Nelson. Yeah, it's a solid roster from Brandon here. You can definitely see a lot of bench players outscoring his starting lineup though, and he's gonna be very sad about it. I'm gonna have to make my way over to my parents' place this weekend for the games just so I can listen to his reaction when Devonta Smith scores a 60-yard touchdown. George Gino in the lineup currently against San Fran. I would be scared shitless of that, especially as a Thursday game, man. Thursday games are notoriously low scoring, and you got the San Fran defense, and I'm not liking that if I'm George. I'm legit picking up Deshaun Watson and considering playing him if I'm George. There are Saturday games this week. I didn't realize that. Justin Jefferson, Saturday against Indy. Yeah. I mean, Indy's defense is good, but Justin Jefferson's just a freaking monster, man. So, George, every now and then, Jeff lays a goose, though. Hey, does Saturday count as prime time? It's at noon, so I guess you can't call it prime time. So, Kirk should be okay. Watson, let's see if he can keep his touchdown streak going, huh? He's got, what, 8 in the last 4?
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is this? Oh, and it is a rushing touchdown, right? Yeah, okay. Josh Jacobs has been rolling, although the Patriots is a tough matchup too. Georgia has a lot of tough matchups, McKinnon, fair enough. Chasing the points a little bit with McKinnon, but also he's been okay. You could probably start McKinnon. It's Houston, so I don't know how much the Chiefs are going to be throwing the ball to the running back, at least later on in the game. But hey, you never know. Maybe it'll be a close game. Houston surprises you every now and then and doesn't lose by that many points. Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been kind of bad lately. Not gonna lie. Disappointing. Lamar has been bad though, Jake. They don't have a quarterback
Lamar has
there.
been bad.
So I think
Lamar's
Huntley's
out.
gonna play this week. I think he got concussed, but from what I saw, he was practicing. So I think he'll be okay to start. Rashad White is in the lineup. He's got Singletary, Slayton, Fournette, Higbee. He's got a whole lot of nothing on the bench, honestly. Yeah, this is the lineup. I'd consider making a quarterback change, but I mean, are you guys changing anything here? Seems legit to me.
Yeah, I'm not
I almost think
changing
you almost
anything.
go instead of Watson, you almost pick up Tannehill. I think sock it to the man. I mean, he's playing the Chargers defense.
Oh, he plays Chargers. Fair play, fair play.
Yeah, Chargers
all
secondary is terrible, but then again, they might not throw the ball at all.
It's a Daniel Jones week, Jake.
Nobody's respecting Mike White against Detroit. I know he was a little banged
Dude, is
up.
Mike White even playing this week? He got assaulted last week.
He did get killed.
He took a shot to the ribs, came out for a couple plays, came back in, took another shot, and then he came out, and I was like, oh, this guy's fucked. I'd be surprised if he played. Kudos to him if he does.
If he does play, though, he did look pretty solid before.
That's true. No, you're right, and he's got Detroit, so I respect that take.
Yeah. It's the best matchup.
Daniel Jones has Washington, though. It's not like Washington's a tough defense. I can get behind that. Although Daniel Jones kind of stinks. He's your guy, though, Jake.
He was my guy.
For 1 week.
I've moved on to Daniel Jones now.
Oh, yeah, moved on to bigger and better things, huh?
Brock Purdy.
Purdy. Yeah, this is a tough matchup. I'm going to struggle to pick this one. I'm taking Brandon here. I'm going to do it because I think George has a lot of tough matchups this week. I think a lot of his players are going to underperform from his projection. That's my take. What do we got, boys? Who do you guys got?
This is a tough decision. I'm also gonna go with Brandon. I think he's gonna make the right moves, and his bench is not gonna outscore the starters. No, I think Jalen. Okay, here's the deal. Jalen Waddle on the bench is gonna feel terrible the
Yep.
entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna feel terrible. Actually, he's lucky he plays on Saturday, so he doesn't think about that an extra day. But I'm still gonna go with Brandon.
Jalen Waddle hasn't really been that good for a while. He's had
No,
a
he hasn't been
couple.
good.
He's had a couple okay games, but really the last good one was Detroit. Detroit ruined Jalen Waddle.
That's a fact. It's just gonna be one of those guys that you can look back at the 44-point week 2 and be like, that would feel really good in the playoffs, and if it's on the bench, that would cost you a
hurt,
season.
especially if you lose, man. Oh boy. What do you got, Greg? You going against the grain, or are you staying?
I was going to, because I mean, I just feel like Jefferson and Watson get 30 apiece each, but at the same time, like Brandon just has a deeper roster right now. I mean,
Hey, depth doesn't matter
if
in the
he's
playoffs, Greg. It's the starting lineup, man.
I guess he's got to figure out who to start. But I think Brandon walks away with this one pretty easy, just
Respect.
based on the options he has on his flex.
All right, you heard that, Brandon. You have a 55% chance of winning now that I've picked you. So don't disappoint me. The other matchup this week, we've got Laner going up against you, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Tua's got Buffalo, which is a tough matchup, but not the end of the world. Like I said earlier, Buffalo's defense is still good, but they're not quite the same. Amon-Ra's got the Jets. It's okay. Godwin's got Cincy. Pollard's got the Jags. That's a good matchup. Najee's got Carolina. That's also a pretty good matchup. Evan Ingram's got Dallas. Are you afraid of Evan Ingram now, Jake?
A little bit, but there's no way, right? There's no way.
Hey,
I
I
mean,
see a lot of Jags on that team between
no
Evan
way,
Ingram,
right?
Christian Kirk. All it takes is one
Another week.
Trevor.
Oh, man.
That would be nuts. And he's got Jason Sanders and San Fran defense Thursday against Seattle. I love the San Fran defense this week. Thursday game, best defense in the league. Yeah, I'm all over that.
What about if Purdy plays?
Mm-hmm.
Does Ayuk? I guess Ayuk can't make it into the lineup because Kirk's been there the entire year. But Ayuk's got to be interesting if Purdy plays because Debo's out for 3 weeks.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I forgot Debo's hurt.
Right as I'm saying, I'm like, he's not going to take Kirk out of the flex spot.
No.
But
yeah, I mean he won't. And honestly, for a decent reason, Kirk's been just good. Definitely, he's been better than Ayuk this year. And I know Debo's hurt, but how much do you want to trust Brock Purdy? Realistically, I know you do, given the fact that he's in your lineup. But if I'm Lane, either Brock Purdy is dying, and I'm happy, or that's an argument for Ayuk, honestly, because if Brock Purdy has a great game, it's because Ayuk had a good game, right? Because it's Ayuk and Kittle. Debo's gone. They don't have McCaffrey anymore.
I did watch
that game. They do have McCaffrey. Oh shit.
They do. I did watch the game, and I honestly would have thought Ayuk had more points than he did. I remember the touchdown catch, but he only did have 2 catches actually off 3 targets. That's not as much as I thought. So, I mean, but yes, Debo being out, you're going to see McCaffrey used a lot again for good reason.
Yeah,
so.
Nick B is a happy guy now that Debo's out.
You hate to see. I wish I still had McCaffrey. Oh my god.
Yeah, I bet you do. Filthy.
That hurts.
Lane has Swift on the bench. Okay, so he did start Najee in Carolina over Swift in New York. I respect that. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Jake, you've got Purdy in Seattle. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good matchup. If there's ever a time to start Brock Purdy, now's the time.
It's tough that it's a Thursday game.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
If he has a bad game, you're going to be staring at that for a long time. It's going to be Derek Carr all over again. You're going to be very sad.
Exactly.
But don't let that get into your head, though, because Brock Purdy is definitely a better start than Derek Carr this week. Derek Carr against New England is...
And I'm just saying, in general, I have less time to think about who my quarterback's going to be for the playoffs. Literally tomorrow night,
yeah,
I'm going to have to figure out if Purdy's my starter or not.
It's not a terrible play. He'll be okay. You know, I think he'll be fine.
Actually, I think they just adjusted his projection. I swear it was at either 14 or 16
Oh,
when
okay.
I checked the last.
That
So they
checks
must have
out because his
adjusted
next 3
that.
weeks are 15, 14, 14.
Interesting.
Agreed. So yeah, I'm okay riding with Brock Purdy. I think he'll be all right. Stephon Diggs against Miami is a good matchup. Keenan Allen against Tennessee is a fantastic matchup. We just saw what the Jags did to them last week.
Mm-hmm.
What can Herbert do with Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler? Michael Carter against Detroit is a tough one, dude.
It's not a done deal there.
Yeah.
I had Pirine in there. I've got 3 running backs in the 8 to 9 range.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Dang. That is really tough. Is there? Oh, boy.
I've got so many players in the 8 to 9 range, like flex spot too. I've got so many.
You got Njoku. Nice. Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore,
He had 10 targets
honestly,
last week.
I think I'm going to start. Yep. I saw the 10 targets. I love that. He's playing
Yeah.
Detroit this week. If Mike White plays, I think he's going to be
Yeah.
my
If Mike White
flex.
doesn't play, Elijah Moore gets yanked for somebody. I don't care
Yep.
who. Romeo Dobbs is playing this week, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Romeo Dobbs told reporters he's confident he'll play on Monday night against the Rams.
That's going to be a tough one for me to
Yeah,
justify.
it's a
as
Monday
much as I like
game.
Dobbs.
You could pick up Cobb or something. I'm sure nobody has him. You could toss him in there if you need to. But I'm pretty sure Romeo Dobbs is going to play this week. I was seeing reports that the Packers are hopeful to have him and Watson on the same.
I could pick up my boy
That's it.
Zonovan Knight right now if I want to.
I would totally start him over Michael Carter. What the fuck?
I could at least drop somebody for him. You know what? I think I'm going to do it right now on the podcast.
I would definitely
Ooh.
pick up Zonovan Knight and play him over Michael Carter. He's just been better than Michael Carter.
Here's what I'm going to do. This is at least going to stall my decision. I'm going to pick up Zonovan. I'm going to drop Derek Carr. He can't be picked up instantly. So if I want him back, I got a chance at him. But I don't think I'm going to be scared of having Derek Carr gone because I really don't want.
Dude, Carr has Pittsburgh and San Fran in the next 2 weeks.
You know
You're not playing Carr in the next 2 weeks.
I just got a very interesting notification.
Yeah. Greg. Yes. Tell me Greg picked him up. We're going to the matchups.
I just got a very,
We're going
very
to
interesting
transactions.
notification.
I'm going right now.
As I'm in the process of picking up my boy Zonovan Knight,
Yes,
here comes Limited,
Greg.
sniping him.
That's huge. Oh, that's so massive. Attaboy, Greg. Fuck over your boy. Jake's
Jake,
pissed.
I gotta win the bye week. No weeks off.
Okay, Russ.
I'm gonna blame Cade for benching his players now.
Jake's. So Greg, here's the
It's
thing.
on the pod.
Look. Live look into behind the scenes here. I hit up Nick B because he said he wanted to be on for the playoffs. I asked him if he wanted to be on this week or next week. He said next week. All right, Nick B, next week. Book it. I'm trying to think of who else to put on the show this week, and Jake suggests you because you won. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize Greg won. Kudos to Greg. So, yeah, of course we're going to get Greg in here. And Jake, if you would have kept your pretty little mouth shut, Greg might be disappointed. And you probably have Zonovan Knight.
It's not like Zonovan Knight's going to go off this week. There's no way, right?
Because I don't know if Greg was hitting up 3.
Michael Carter's going to get 4, Zonovan's going to get 21, and I'm going to be losing.
Oh, yeah. Zonovan's definitely having 15 points this week. Dude, he plays Detroit. He just put up 15 against Buffalo.
Jake, I'll release him. I had.
See, the thing is, Greg, the thing is, even if you release him, he can't pick him up.
Bid on. I can't pick him
actually?
up.
He gets sent to waivers.
It's over. It's over.
He's got a 2-day timeline. No, Greg, this is huge.
Release the podcast.
Don't be sorry, Greg.
Release the podcast.
Don't be sorry, Greg.
I respect it.
Greg, if you cut Zonovan Knight, I'm blowing all of my fab on him.
Yeah, you don't realize this, Greg. I had a good understanding of what happened in the moment. The silence that happened as that. I knew what was going on. All right.
I thought it was fab dollars. So like, oh, Jake, I don't have any fab dollars. Jake's gonna outspend me. It's fine.
No. So how it works? Yeah, when it's green, it's an insta pickup. So how it works is a player is put onto waivers for 2 days after they play or are dropped, and during that time they get bid on. Now, as soon as they're off waivers, right, as soon as that time passes, it turns into a green plus instead of a yellow plus. When it's green, it's instant add. Everybody's had their chance to pick him up. So you had the green plus. Now, if you cut him, it turns into yellow for 2 days again. So get fucked, Jake. In which case, everybody bids on him. And if you do drop him, I will spend all my fab on him, and
Well,
I
at
have more
least we've
fab
got-
than Jake.
We've got the clickbait for the podcast.
Yeah, we do. Attaboy, Greg. Incredible move. Wow. You'll never believe what happened live on the show. Nice work, Greg. I'm proud of you.
It's got to do the high knees on the flight over to London. That's what that was.
Chinese.
Oh, now, interesting tidbit for Lane. Darren Waller's back this week.
Yeah.
Do you care? I mean, Evan Ingram was really good last week.
Not really.
He was bad before he got hurt, wasn't he?
He had a
No,
couple
no,
good
actually,
weeks,
he was
and then
alright.
yeah, he was mid. But I mean, Evan Ingram's great and all, but I mean, he did have 1.5 points, 4.5 points, and 2 points in 3 weeks in a row around his bye week a couple weeks ago. So
This doesn't really matter, but I'm pretty sure I drafted San Francisco defense this year, and I was planning on holding on to them. I really liked. I legitimately knew that. Well, first of all, they're a good defense, but I also actually looked at like weeks 15, 16,
respect.
17. Like I legitimately did that, and I had to drop them at one point just because I needed receivers. Everybody was hurt, whatever. But it does kind of stink that I've got San Francisco here in this matchup that I actually looked at. I got Philly defense against Chicago, which also could be solid. But yeah, that could really hurt to see a 20-point San Francisco. It's very possible. Very possible.
Who do you got in
But
this one, Greg? Jake, I'm assuming you got yourself.
I'm gonna go with myself here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Jake just because I think the Chargers are really gonna beat up the Titans this week, and he has 3 Chargers. And I feel bad about those Donovan snafu, so I got
No.
for Jake.
That was awesome. That was
Here's the thing. Jake, if you had Zonovan Knight, I'd be picking you really easy.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Donovan Knight, but you think it's that?
I think Michael Carter gets you 3 points. I think Elijah Moore gets you 3 points.
You think? Okay.
I think they both stink. I think your roster stinks. Your bench stinks. Your flex, your running back stinks.
I know you're not putting Kareem Hunt in the running back 2 spot. I can tell you that. And I
No,
bet
yeah,
Samaje
Kareem Hunt
probably
belongs on
wouldn't
the
be able to
waivers.
do that.
If it's me, I'm gambling on Romeo Doubs over Elijah Moore.
I almost put Goddard in.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't think I can do it.
I understand that you can't do that. I'm not in the playoffs and you are, Jake, so that tells you all you need to know. I'm taking Lane. Why even try? Continues to upset me. And he upsets Jake.
I'm almost thinking Goddard over Moore if he's back this week. First week back with.
I wouldn't. Oh, in the
Hurts as
flex?
a tight end.
I would do Goddard over Michael Carter, but I don't know if I'd do Goddard over Moore. Michael Carter's just bad, man. He stinks. If he falls into the end zone, you consider. If he falls into the end zone, you should feel blessed because Zonovan's the starter, man. Zonovan was on wait. Jake, this is all your fault for not bidding on Zonovan earlier.
You guys know I had Zonovan, right? I
didn't know.
Did you drop
He's the guy I bid 21 or 25.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I don't feel bad anymore.
Oh, AJ Dillon's in the waiver wire. Jake, you.
I literally dropped Zonovan, but then I was like, maybe I should pick this dude back. I dropped him because I was scrambling for quarterbacks. There's been a lot of stuff going on with this team.
Wait, AJ.
Yeah, I figured that was coming. He just said you should pick up AJ Dillon. He picks him up. You guys go ahead and pick up all the quarterbacks. Empty your rosters. Pick up the quarterbacks. Pick up the running backs.
I mean,
have some fun.
Brian, you gotta release this podcast before AJ Dillon gets picked up.
Get your content. Go get Deshaun Watson.
He's pissed.
Oh boy! So those are the matchups this week. I'm taking
Lane. I could drop them.
That makes me more angry that you didn't realize what you were doing. I'll tell you that, Greg.
Oh man. Okay, players of the week. We're going best players of the week. Trevor Lawrence for Nick, 42 points. Jerick McKinnon for Nick. Oh, not for Nick. Sorry, for Greg. I didn't change that. My bad, Greg. T-Law for Greg, 42 points. Jerick McKinnon for Nick, 37 points. Oh, did I change that? Right? Oh, now I gotta fact check all this shit. Jerick McKinnon. Oh, pain. George. I never changed the people. Pain. Jerick McKinnon for George, 37 points. Justin Jefferson 38 points. Justin Jefferson is on George's team. Attaboy, George. Evan Ingram, 43 points. He's on Lane's team.
Lane.
Yep, that one I got. Kiami Fairburn is a free agent. He had 16. And Cleveland's defense had 21.5 on Lemons' team, I believe. Not the Cleveland defense. Oh, fuck me. It's the Patriots defense. Patriots defense. Oh, I choked this one. Defense. Week 14. All. Patriots defense on Nick B's team. Yeah. Tough time. There we go. So, those are the best players of the week. Let's hit the transactions quick.
You bastard.
We're going back to the
Why not?
Do we even need to? So Nick cut Melvin Gordon. Hey Jake, there's your guy. Melvin Gordon.
There's a guy.
He
That's
cut
a
Will
name.
Lutz, picked up Michael Badgley. How'd that work out? 12 points.
Didn't Melvin Gordon get released? Like,
Yeah, he got released a couple weeks ago.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's
He's
a
playing
name.
future in the locker room. That's the story.
Lane picked up Travis
Russ couldn't
Homer
have it.
before the games on Sunday, and then Travis Homer was announced as not the starter, and he had like 1 point or something like that. Oh, he had 5 points this league. He had 1 point in my work league. That hurt. Jake cut Tyler Huntley, picked up Brock Purdy. Be hilarious if Tyler Huntley outscored Brock Purdy this next week. Deshaun Watson was cut, so you could pick up Jake. You could pick up Deshaun Watson too. I won't do that one because
He is actually in waivers, so I'd have to
Anybody can
he,
get
he
a
gets
good
bid
shot
on.
there.
Yeah, attaboy, Jake. Hey,
We'll
you got
see-
11
we'll see if I'm
fab.
interested.
Hey,
We'll
if
see if
I'm
I'm
your
interested.
opponent, Jake,
No, you don't need to talk about the fab.
I'm spending
Why are you
12
talking
fab.
about the
I'm
Why are
talking
you talking
about
about
the
Why are you
Hey,
talking about the fab?
Beat the fab.
Anyway.
We're fucking Jake.
Oh,
Why are we teaming up on? I'm not rooting against Jake. I don't
Hey,
know.
I would be saying this no matter who it was. Brandon picked up Green Bay's defense for 16 fab and cut Baltimore. Hey, we got the Rams. Hey, and Joe Barry we trust, I guess. You know, if it works out, hey, get your defense, right? If you needed a defense, the Rams, there are worse defenses than the Packers up against the Rams. But the Rams do like to fuck Green Bay, so we'll see how that goes. Although they're on their third string quarterback for LA, so yeah, that should be a good play. I forgot about that. Greg picked up Zonovan Knight on December 14th. Oh, that's today at 7:49 p.m. 10 minutes ago. Wow, would
10
you
minutes
believe
ago.
that? Cut Kenyon Drake. So, hey, Jake, at least Kenyon Drake will be on
Kenyon
waivers
Drake's
for
out
you.
there.
And Brian
Dobbs
Robinson.
doesn't play.
If you want Brian Robinson, he's out in there too.
awesome.
He's actually not a bad pickup, but I needed to. Shit, he might be better than AJ Dillon.
Were the memes worth it, Brian?
Yeah, they were. Because I can pick Brian Robinson back up and spend more fab than Jake.
He can empty.
Jake's
He
own
can empty his
actually
team.
I can empty my.
You guys can empty your teams. Keep the keepers. Take everybody. Roster
Oh,
everybody.
I will. You know, low-key, AJ
No,
Dillon's
no. Go on Google, type in
fourth
best
round.
players to pick up, best running backs, best wide receivers. Boom. Pick everybody
Boom.
up.
Boom. Yeah, can I pick up Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, and then I picked up AJ Dillon like 5 minutes ago. So sorry
Yep.
about that one, Jake, but I needed him for the bye
Yep.
week, just like Greg said.
Yeah.
I took
Practice like you
inspiration.
play. Practice like you play.
Practice how you play. Oh man. So that does it. We've covered everything. Good luck to those in the playoffs. We've got Jake and Laner going up against each other. So good luck to you two gentlemen. George and Brandon, good luck to you two gentlemen. I might have to spend some time around Brandon this weekend to either hear a lot of joy or a lot of rage. I'm happy with either. Let's be honest. It'll be exciting. So, Nick and Mike, enjoy your bye weeks. The top G, is that Kobe? Who is that? Oh, is that that YouTuber?
It's not Kobe.
That's not. Oh, that's that dude. Oh, what's his? Andrew Tate? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Brian. I love how
Michael
good you are.
introduced
It was very
Jones.
small. Yeah,
Kobe?
yeah, I remember watching these videos. Well, at first I thought it was. It was a pretty small photo. But yeah, that's the guy.
Kobe just rolled in his grave right now, bro.
Yeah, yeah, he did. That's legit. Hey, from this far away, man, kind of looks like Kobe. Anyways, on that note, we're gonna get out of here. Me, Greg, Cade, Preston. Hey, better luck next year, gentlemen. We'll see you in the draft. Um, so thanks everyone for listening. Jake, hope you have some good luck in the waivers.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Goodbye, everybody.